You cannot under this world expect to have health without loving water. It doesn't happen. It cannot happen. Not in a million years. And there's no substitute for it. You know, insulin is a concentrated salt. And so it does a fine job of doing what the other salt does by dehydration. Insulin is a concentrated salt, and it has a way of pickling the arteries, dehydrating them, just the same way. And so it's unfortunate that folks who are on insulin over a period of time, they have clogged up arteries, clogged up kidney arteries, kidney failure, heart attack, or stroke. It does a very good job. Very unfortunate. So wrong habits need to be corrected. So we look at the 8 laws, and that's where the work of education comes in a sanitarium, or as you're working with an individual. It's not a quick fix. We have got to educate the relationship. You understand? Jesus made every occasion of healing the sick an opportunity to impart divine truth. Then nature is to be assisted in her effort to expel impurities and to reestablish right conditions in the system. So we need to assist nature in her effort then. What is nature trying to do? Expel impurities and to reestablish right conditions. All right? That's what nature is trying to do. Nature is trying to correct the condition. All right? And my question to you, is drugs a means of assisting nature in her effort to expel impurities? Okay. Is surgery a means of assisting nature? Possibly could be. Sometimes, you know, you have an issue, your energy level is low, or there's no better way, you don't understand what else to do, and by removing that piece of tumor or stuff like that, it assists nature to be able to come back and get a fighting chance. So sometimes that's why Kellogg did a lot of surgeries. Okay? All right. How about radiation? No, it doesn't. Okay? All right, so you're pretty smart. Nice. Okay. So the condition that exists as we're looking at this situation, we see damage to the cell walls as a condition. We see now cholesterol deposit is there, although nature is trying to fix the problem. And we also see inflammation there in the tissue. So that's a situation that's there. So we want to assist nature to undo this issue. All right? And the chief things that can be done include water, drink plenty of pure soft water. The softer the water, the better the job is done. Systemic enzymes, that's like those we talked about yesterday where it's taken between the meal and so on. I'll show you them. And chelation is another method that some people use to clean out the arteries. So there it is in the arteries, and there's some clogged up arteries there. The interesting thing is, once a person then begin to, I mean, if it's clogged up, you know, that's a little bit more serious there. But the deposits on the walls of the artery can be removed if you lower the salt. Nature will take those cholesterol molecules piece by piece, just the same way the intelligent design deposited them there. It'll remove them piece by piece until that arterial wall get healed and restored, and it's nice and clean, like a baby. Okay? All right. So distilled water does a great job. Rainwater is distilled water, except, we have some pollutants and so on these days. The softer the water, the better it is. The job is done. But it's better to drink any water. Reverse osmosis is another one that's good. Okay. All right. So generally we figure our body weight, half our body weight in ounces, and we try to get in that much fluid, at least 2/3 of that as straight water. All right, so when do we drink the water? When is the best time to drink my water? Okay. All right. When we get up in the morning, we need to start drinking our water. Right? That's very important. Don't wait until after breakfast. Okay. And between meals, we need to drink our water, more water. And, there's a time factor here, maximum of 4 ounces up to 15 minutes before the meal. Room temperature, okay? So when you wake up, you can have a larger amount of water. You can even squeeze some lemon in there. You can do some stuff to your water there and get some extra benefit. But you can drink a larger amount, and then throughout the day you're going to drink smaller quantities. All right? So as we continue on, maximum of 4 ounces, minimum of 30 minutes after the meal. Maximum of 4 ounces. I know in Adventism we teach that you wait 2 hours after. I am sorry, I don't go along with that. Because waiting 2 hours after and 2 hours after another meal, that's 4 hours out of the day you don't drink no water. That's setting the stage for you to have problem. It's better to drink smaller quantities of water more frequently throughout the day than drinking a quart here and a quart here and say I got 2 quarts for the day. And friends, when you do that, you might as well consider you got just a little bit out of that 2 quarts. Smaller quantity more frequently is better than drinking large quantity in shorter duration. A rainfall, 6-inch, 2-inch rainfall that falls, trickle all day long is better for the plant than that 2-inch rainfall that comes down in 2 hours. You see what I'm saying? Same in nature, same in our bodies. So if you do the math, you come up very short when you follow the plan of waiting 2 hours after. All right. Systemic enzymes I mentioned. Most potent one, serrapeptase. Does a fine job. Nattokinase is another one. And then there's one formula, Blockbuster, which is a combination of several of these enzymes to Clearall is the name of it. Clearall. Okay. All right, another important concept is, as what we're trying to do is assist in nature, right? Okay. Another important concept, we need to consider the Creator's dietary program as we're going along. Fruits, nuts, grains, and veggies. And we need to, as mentioned yesterday, we want to consider a large portion, perhaps of raw, live food, nuts and seeds of our diet. It can be a smaller portion. Grains, you have your grains. That's just a diagram I put up there. This is another one. Creator's diet is usually high fiber. So we have to adjust our dietary program to be more in harmony with what the Creator gave us, right? Okay. Our lifestyle needs to be of such where we have order and organization in our lives. There must be a time for everything. Solomon says, a time for everything under the sun. So a time for breakfast, breakfast like a king, lunch like a prince, and supper like a pauper. All right, this is very important. This is the Adventist lifestyle. Okay? So let's say we have breakfast at 7:30, finish 8:15. All right? Lunch at, let's say, 1, finish 1:45, And if we have something in the evening, let's say we have that duration. But as much as possible, we should try to allow 5 hours between the meal from the end of one meal to the next one. Here it doesn't allow us too much, but this would be light, or you can go 6:30 instead of 6. The point of it is, the more regular our dietary habits are, the better it will be for our health. Anybody understand me? Whatever your time is, the idea of having breakfast at 10 o'clock in the morning, we call that brunch. That's not breakfast. When you wake up in the morning, you have breakfast. Don't be working and doing a bunch of stuff and then at 10 o'clock you sit down for breakfast. When you work on empty, you're burning your reserve. See? There's a rule that says, any day one burns up more energy than they took in, that is the first day of illness. All right, sometimes you can skip your evening meal if you're on a 2-meal day plan. This is just an example, all right? But we got to move on because we have a lot to cover. Okay? All right, so we're to assist nature in our effort to expel impurities, right? All right? Reestablish right conditions. That's what we're working on. So naturally then, if nature is trying to expel impurities, then where are the organs that we're going to look to assist? What organs have a primary responsibility to get rid of impurities? What are they? The liver, the kidneys, the skin, lungs, and so on and so forth. You guys are pretty smart. Okay? I've got some of them up here. Okay? So naturally, we try to assist these organs because some of their primary role is getting rid of impurities. We're to assist our nature to get rid of impurities. So we're going to assist these organs along the way. You see what I'm saying? All right. So that's in principle. So we go with the colon. Great colon. You don't find them this way no more. Okay? But assisting the colon may mean that, if the colon is stopped up, it may mean a colonic, it may mean a colema, it may mean an enema, it may mean a bulking agent. If we get to the end of the program, then I'm going to show you, as we have a flyer on it, how to do a detox, how to do a cleansing, right? But you have to focus in on that. So I'm just giving you the caption here. In principle, if we get to the end, but whether we get to the end or not, we have the brochure on how to put together a cleanse to help to detox your body. You follow me? All right. So in the interest of time, that's stuff that comes out of people. And sometimes we do experiment. You get parasites there too. All that kind of stuff. And remember, your liver, another eliminating organ. Your liver is very important. Absolutely important when it comes on to building health. You cannot ignore it. Just like your brain is the master computer, master control center. The liver is the basic manufacturing plant of the body. Nothing is going to happen unless it starts there in the liver. Unless the brain tells the liver what to do. Okay? And we talked about that yesterday. For us, it is very important as we look at the body chemistry. We watch the chemistry numbers to when the liver gets to the point where the liver flushes, which will be indicated in the last set of number, the urea. When the urea drops below 12 and gets all the way down here, the nature is flushing that liver. And what usually happens most of the time, folks go through upchuck, nausea, vomiting, all kind of stuff go on as the liver is dumping those stored stagnant bile and poisons and drugs and all that kind of stuff. Okay? There's a gallbladder there. You flush it out, or the professionals will take it out. Okay, so you want to do everything you possibly can for the liver. What are the things the liver need again? Water, oxygen. We got to do this quickly. Water, oxygen, what? Okay, all right. I did that pretty fast. Okay, great, it stopped. Let me tell you, your calcium is very, very important. Calcium is needed more by weight and by volume more than any other mineral in all biological life. We use more of it than anything else. So when calcium levels go down, everything else goes off. Calcium has to be there in every cell function. The structure of every cell requires calcium. So it's the king, it's the most. All right? In our bodies as well as in the soil. The skin, another eliminating organ. We got to assist the skin. How do we assist the skin? What happens? What's the skin supposed to do? Sweat, right? Get that toxins out. Right? And the skin breathes too. So a lot of times, nature will, if the other eliminating organs, such as the colon and liver or whatever else is not working properly, nature will open the skin. And it will keep it open, regardless of what you do. Nature say, all right, the other ones are not working, so I'm going to have to pick up the workload. And regardless of what you do, it's going to stay open until you clean the house. And then nature will say, okay, whoosh, and begin to work to close it up. You follow me? Makes sense, right? The lungs, deep breathing, right? Plenty of fresh air, summer and winter. The Creator, after all, put us out in the clear, open air, right? The least we can do is crack the windows and enjoy fresh air. Spend time out in nature, okay? Yeah, some folks damage their lungs, huh? And the beautiful thing is that the lungs allow for the movement of the diaphragm is a wonderful way to get our lymph to circulate. It's one of the key methods to get our lymphs moving. All right, there's our kidneys. We can't do without them. All right, so we got to assist the kidneys too, right? Now, lymphatic system. Interesting. You've seen this coming. I pass it by and I pass it by. Okay, we're going to try to say a brief something. These guys represent the cells. This is a space between the cell. You got the fluids represented over here. Over here, the cells, but it's only a very thin film of fluid between the cells, okay? In this state, there's inflammation and pain. All right? Over here, this is the way it's supposed to be. So you notice the lymph vessels, the lymph protrude in and around the cells. The blood vessels don't. The blood vessels just drop their content in the area. And through that lymph fluid, it gets to the cell. The lymphatic system protrudes there and get there in the cell, around the cell where it can keep the area clean. So it's a great filter to remove all the impurities that the cell dumps off, to take it out and through the lymphatic system and dump it back in the bloodstream and to the liver. So we want to keep our lymph system moving. If our lymphatic system is not moving, then we are closer to dead than alive. Okay? Another way of moving the lymphatics is rebounder, trampoline. Another way is this machine here, they call it a chi machine, and they have vibration machine, all different ways. Deep breathing is the Creator's ordained way to get that lymphatic system circulating. So if we got real tight clothing, like some of the things ladies wear in this century today, they're killing themselves while enjoying the style. And the men are doing it too. Have mercy. It's just a matter of education. People are not aware. People are just following the crowd. You see what I'm saying? Okay, so we got to the cleansing. Let's see how we're doing on time. Praise the Lord. Doing good. We have that flyer. Nadej, can I have a copy of that yellow flyer that says the cleansing program? And if you can pass out if we have enough. But in this particular flyer is the program we're going to talk about just briefly. Okay? So when we think about a cleanse, a detox, it's one of the most important first step approach that we want to do as we seek to change our health. All right? Of course, again, this is not anything that we have discussed thus far and beyond this point is for educational purposes, right? Are you learning something? All right, we are being encouraged. And this information also is of that nature. Your friendly physician will tell you about healing and curing disease and so on. But remember, we told you who is the only one that can cure disease, and that is the Creator. I mean, if you look science squarely in its face, nobody, no medical doctor, no naturopath, no medical missionary can cure any disease. That is the realm of the Creator. That's why he says in Psalms 103, bless the Lord, O my soul, and who forgiveth all my iniquities, and who healeth all my diseases. That's why in Exodus 15:26 he says, if thou wilt diligently hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, and will do that which is right in his sight, and will give ear to his commandments, and keep all his statutes, I will put none of these diseases upon thee, which I have brought upon the Egyptians. For I am the Lord thy God that healeth thee. Friends, those guys were just making the exodus out of Egypt. That promise meant a lot to them. Deuteronomy 7:15 tells us that they knew what the Egyptian diseases were. Scientists today studied the 36,000 Egyptian mummies and found that the Egyptians died of heart disease, cancer, hardening of the artery, rickets, cirrhosis of the liver, and all the other rest of stuff we got today. They studied the mummies. So that promise takes on a new meaning for us, friends. God is well able, as we do our part conscientiously, to keep us from these Egyptian diseases. The influence of the Spirit of God in our heart is the greatest medicine. That's power. That's the presence of God in humanity. That's a lot of healing remedies there. Friends? Okay, all right, let's move on. Talk about the cleansing. Okay, so when we think about a cleansing, we think first about the fluids. When I think about the fluids, all right? Fluids that you would consider on a cleanse would be your water, your herb teas, okay, your juices. 3 categories: water, herb teas, and juices. All right? And one of the things we want to figure out, how much of these would I be consuming? How do I determine? Basically, easy suggestion is to divide your weight in 4. Your body weight divide by 4. Okay? And then once you divide your body weight by 4, then that is equal to the ounces of juices and teas that you would consume per day. Actually, when you divide it by 4, let's say it's 160, your weight is 160, half of 160 is what? 80. And half of 80 is 40. All right? So the 40 would represent the juices and teas. Let's divide by 4, 40. That would represent the amount of juices and teas, right? And you can do for that, out of that 40, you can consume a quarter of that up to a third as your teas. The juices you may consume 2/3 to 3/4 of that as juices. So you have a play there. Okay, one of the things you should consider if you have issues with low sugar, then you'd want to be up on the juices. And then the water would be equal to that amount of the total juice and tea. So in this case, it would be 40. So half water, half juices and teas combined. Follow? It's just a guideline so you can plan it and regulate it for yourself. All right. Now, so the green drink is a very important part of the juice. Greens, chlorophyll type substance, it is amazing you won't do a cleanse without having a lot of green liquid going in. Greens in and of themselves are very detoxifying, very cleansing, and is very supportive to the liver's function. Okay? So you make fresh green drink with good quality veggies, or if you're not able to, you can choose any good quality green powder. It's a convenience factor where you can utilize those. All right? Okay. When we come on to the food, so we dealt with the juice, with the fluids. Now, the foods. Okay? Food should be completely plant-based at this point. Complete plant-based. So it may be a combination of fasting. It may be a combination of all raw and then portions raw, portions cooked. Typically, you can, if you're choosing to do a combination where you include fasting, which is a great thing. When you fasting, it gives the body a greater opportunity to do internal cleaning and cleansing. Okay? So even one day, let's say you're doing 6 days or 7 days of cleanse.